Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Trails Radio Show. Thank you for joining us today. Today, my special guest is radio host and voiceover actor, Mr. Barry King. Thank you, and join us in a minute. Okay, my first question to you is, how did you get started in the industry? How did your career begin?
Oh, how did I get started? I was in high school back in 1983 in a little town in northeast Alabama, and they had a local radio station there, WAGC AM 1560, and I'd always been fascinated with radio and a television show called WKRP in Cincinnati, which was so funny, and I thought, wow, they're having such a good time working on the radio there on that TV show. I wonder if that's how it is working at a radio station. So I just basically bugged the station to let me work there and, start out doing odd jobs and got my first recording of a commercial that I got to do the first time, which really made me happy, and was eventually reading obituaries and doing little things on the air here and there back in 1982, 83, and that's where my love for doing radio all got started, was in a little small town in Alabama.
Yeah, you start out small, then, you grow to the top,
Well, I'm not to the top yet, but I'm trying to get to the top. I've still got a long way to go, yeah. You're right.
Yeah. I've been doing my show for 6 years, and I love radio, It's very interesting. There's so many directions you can go in the radio industry.
That's true. I sampled some of your YouTube videos and checked them out before I decided to come on and heard some of your recordings. You've got some really good installments.
Thank you very much. My next question to you is, what do you find is the most challenging part for you being in radio? What do you find is the most difficult?
The most difficult about being in radio, that is a hard question to answer because I love it so much and always have been doing it on and off now for almost 30 years, that there's not a lot of negative about it. The only negative that I can present to you would be sometimes dealing with some management, sometimes dealing with some technical issues that go wrong while you're on the air, maybe a problem you've got here and there, maybe a on-site remote broadcast that you do for a place and people not understanding what's going on. That's really the only negative part about my job working in radio. I love it and look forward to getting up to do it every day I do it.
Yeah, you have to enjoy, if you want to be in the industry, you have to have the craft for it and enjoy doing it. If not, what's the point in getting in the business?
Well, yeah, at first I did it for free, for no pay, so you really love to do something if you do it for no compensation. At first, your compensation usually is just the joy of being able to flip that switch and start talking and know that there might be some people on the other end interested in what you're saying, which it really gives me a kick.
Yeah. Another difficult thing I find being in the business is you have to keep in touch with the technology because the technology is always changing. You have to keep up to date with the technology.
That's very true, Trey. And in the old days, it was only either AM or FM was the only way you could get your voice heard, which was radio, AM frequency or FM frequency. But over the past few years, we've gotten so many new options thanks to technology, as you said, with apps and smartphones and streaming and websites. Now, a radio station, which before would only be heard locally with an AM signal that was not very strong, can actually get out all over the universe now. I mean, if you've got a cell phone signal on the North Pole, you can hear my show, which you wouldn't be able to do before. But if you've got a cell phone signal or a computer plugged in somewhere and you've got a connection, you can hear radio stations and shows anywhere in the world and beyond.
Yeah, that's how my show is. My show is an online show, and it streams all over. I've had people in Canada and England and Mexico, say we listen to your show,
Does that make you feel as good as it does me when someone like from the Dominican Republic with me and like you said, other countries as far away as Hawaii and Scotland sometimes, it really gives me a big thrill knowing that people are hearing my voice that far away on the radio. And I know it probably makes you happy too.
Oh yeah, when someone first told me that, I'm like, really? I couldn't believe it at first, but that proves the world, your voice can be heard anywhere in the world, if you...
That's right. I mean, with the apps. Now, we broadcast our station on our website, which is WBHFradio.org. You can listen live there, but you can also use the TuneIn app. That's TuneIn to hear our show. And you can also, I upload my show to SoundCloud, which in case anyone ever misses a show on Saturday, they can go to SoundCloud or use the SoundCloud app and hear the show from the past Saturday all week in case they miss it. So it's a huge benefit for everyone to be able to utilize all these tools. Yeah.
And there's constantly more apps coming out, that can help with the radio broadcasting.
More apps than you can shake an app at. You're right. That's very true.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about your show. Are you still on the air these days? Do you have a show?
Yes, I am on every Saturday now from 10 a.m. till noon Eastern. On WBHF Radio out of Cartersville, Georgia. We're just northwest of Atlanta. We're just above in the Atlanta outskirts market in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's called BK on the Air. That's me, and I have a show where I talk about. I like to call it the retro, geeky, nostalgic show because I talk about things that I loved growing up. I talk about movies, television, music, Saturday mornings from the old days, from the 60s all the way up until the 80s and 90s and even beyond that. Everything geek and pop culture, comic books, Schoolhouse Rock, the new movies that are coming out, like the Marvel superhero films, which are a lot of them filmed right here surrounding me here in Atlanta. We get to see them filmed here locally because Atlanta's become a big market for movie making now. And that's what I'll play old bits, old commercials. Sometimes I'll play old snippets from films and movie trailers on the air that people love and remember. And people will tell me, I'd forgotten all about that until you played it and talked about it on your show, and it brought it back into my memory. So that's kind of what my show is about, is a retro nostalgic geekiness, I like to call it.
Yeah, the old days, that was, I'm from... I'm 18, but I like the old days stuff, the old commercials, the old movies, so that I grew up with that, more than today's entertainment.
Yeah, and it depends on really how old you are sometimes as to when the old days are that you're referring to. You're right, because some people the old days are from the 40s and some people the old days are from the 80s. So we like to cover it all. I had a guy call in and thank me for talking about the Lone Ranger not too long ago. We were talking about the Lone Ranger television series, and then we'd switch gears and talk about, a Marvel comic movie or Godzilla King of the Monsters that just came out as of the recording of this interview. Just came out not too long ago. So all those great films that have that fan base, no matter what decade they happen to come out, no matter what era they came out, I'm usually familiar with all of them because I go way back thanks to my parents and my grandparents. I have a great appreciation of very old stuff, and I'm pretty up to date with the new stuff now. We have a Channel Star Wars report where folks from Channel Star Wars call in every Saturday and do a Star Wars update and report as to what's going on. We have a girl named Amanda who calls in to do gaming reviews, video games. It keeps us up to date with that. And The Walking Dead is filmed here in Atlanta, so I have a great fellow named Alan Sanders who calls in and gives us a Walking Dead production report every Saturday. So I've got a lot of it covered from all angles. And you got my big fat behind talking about stuff too, so I'm mixing myself in there too.
So you cover it all, all the nostalgic stuff, and that's good. That's very interesting.
I try to cover all of it. I mean, there's a lot that we don't get to because just from the constraints of time of only 2 hours being on every Saturday, so we got to cram a week's worth of news into a 2-hour broadcast on Saturday. But anything, that's what Facebook. I'm on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. And that's what all of that's for, is to kind of catch the overflow of things that I don't get to talk about. I do post a lot on social media and make a lot of new friends that find out about the program by using all those sites.
Yeah, that's the great thing about social media. You know, you connect with your fans and your audiences, you know, and social media is a great thing these days.
Hey, social media is how you and I met.
That's right.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, it is. You can make it bad or make it good. I know it's used for a lot of bad stuff, but I don't think I've ever had any bad experience working with social media since I started using it many years ago. It's been nothing but a kick and nothing but a positive for me.
Yeah, same here. That's how I get most of my interviews, you know, through Facebook or social media, you know.
Yeah, and it's great. You also get a little bit. It's almost free advertising too, because granted, I'm on a local station in Georgia, but like I said before, with all the broadcasting we use with the internet, you along with social media, you team those two things up, and you can get your message and your show and your whatever you want people to learn about you and find out where you are. Social media is the way to do it, because it's kind of free advertising once you get the ball rolling and get followers and friends on there.
Oh yeah, and it's constantly growing. You know, every day the social media network is growing rapidly.
That's true. I mean, I've been at WBHI. I'm actually on one of the oldest AM radio stations in America. My station started broadcasting way back in 1946.
Oh wow.
So it's not the oldest station, but it's definitely one of the oldest radio stations that has been around in America. And I'm proud to be a part of the team there. We have a lot of different programming on our station, but I kind of sneak in every Saturday and take a chair and prop it up against the door so no one can come in and throw me off the air, and I take over the station for about 2 hours. So it's pretty cool to be able to do that.
Yeah, radio is very interesting because there's so many things you can do. You know, you can voice your opinion, or you can just play music. You know, and it's really special to be part of the radio industry. You know, really.
It is, and podcasting is a completely other entity, which is great too. I'm also affiliated with a group called The Wilder Ride, which actually is a podcasting organization that takes all the films of actor Gene Wilder, and we examine all of his films 1 minute at a time. We'll take one film and then break it down minute by minute, and it's very awesome to learn about movies in that creative way and do it that way. But there's a lot of podcasts out there, and for a long time it was kind of special. But now there's a lot of podcasts, and people used to turn away from radio and go, well, I have a podcast now, I'm not on the radio. Well, now it's starting to kind of turn around, because there's so many podcasts and less people actually on the radio, that now everybody's like, oh, I really like to get back or do a radio show instead of a podcast, or both. So with it all out there available, you've got a lot of options. Yeah.
My last question to you is, what is your advice to people who want to get into the radio business?
Well, my advice to get into the radio business, I think it would have been different advice 25 years ago or 30 years ago than I would give now, but not too different. My advice is, it's got to be something first that you feel very passionate about and know a lot about, and you can be entertaining with the way that you present it to someone. Now, you can go to school and learn about broadcasting all you want and get the technical aspect of it, but if you don't have the other thing, like the talent and the drive and the ambition and the ability to capture people's imagination and capture them and make them want to listen to what you're talking about, you're not going to be very good at it. So I would say, try to get in with someone and have them show you the ropes that's already in radio. You know, make a friend, get to know someone, bug the heck out of somebody that does it, you know, and kind of like I did. I kind of bugged some folks at a local radio station many years ago in the early 80s. They finally said, oh, well, let's get him in here so he'll shut up and leave us alone and let him do something before he drives us crazy. That's what I did. And I'm not saying that's exactly the way to do it, but it's certainly a way that you can start. And then, you know, if you've got the means to go to school and take some and get some education and training on how to do that end of it, It's always good to get your foot in the door in case you know how to edit in radio, or if you know about the sound equipment. You're an engineer, you can get into engineering and work in that aspect of it, and then you can kind of sneak your way into being on the on-air